Alright guys, 10.3, we're going to talk about random outcomes. A random outcome is an outcome in which the results of a trial do not affect the results from the previous trial, or you really can't describe or predict what's going to happen. There's no concrete evidence that what comes next will be the same as or will follow the same patterns as what came before. Okay, so if we dive right into an example here, Mario is studying bees, okay, and so he videotapes bees leaving a hive for one day, and he counts 247 bees that fly east and 628 bees that fly west. Okay, so we've talked before. This would be an experiment. Okay, so we're going to talk about experimental probability. So the experimental probability that the next bee, let's talk about the next bee here, that the next bee is going to fly east. Let's calculate that. Well, first we need our total of bees. So 247 plus 628, he looked at 875 bees. So that's the total number of bees. So his experimental probability of bees flying east was 247 out of 875, which is 2.282. So 0.282 or 28%. We'll round there. Okay. The experimental probability of bees flying west was 628, and you could deduce here what our probability is going to be here, but we'll do the math just because. 628 divided by 875 is 7.717, so equals 0.717. We better round up to 72%, which makes sense there. Okay, so the question is, use the results of Mario's study to describe or to predict approximately how many of the next 100 bees will fly east. So our experimental probability for flying east was 28%. That means 28 out of the next 100 bees should fly east. And should really doesn't even matter there because this is random. You can't predict which way bees are going to go. The bee might have a mind of its own and want to fly west or want to fly east or want to fly north or south. So that's what it means to be random. We really can't use the information that he has to predict what happens the next day. Maybe in a week or two the bees are flying completely different ways. So you can use experimental probability, but we shouldn't be surprised if 50 out of the next 100 bees fly east. Okay, so that's kind of what it means there. For class, try this question. Miss Olson's algebra class last year had 20 students. 4 of them were consistently blurting out in class, while the other 16 raised their hands. This year, she has 50 students, and you're asked to use data to approximate how many blurters she has this year. But we all know year to year teenagers are different. So try that for class.